With the popularization of serial killer podcasts, novels, documentaries, and other forms of media, it seems that America is fascinated with serial killers. I can't blame you. So am I. It's fascinating that certain people crave and receive satisfaction from taking the lives of others. But why do they do it? What drives a person to kill? Is it nature, indicating that certain people are born evil and have biological components dooming them to their inevitable fate of killing? Or is nurture a more appropriate answer, revealing that their environment, upbringing, and the abuse they endured during childhood turned them into cold-blooded killers? This question has been researched and debated for decades, and I believe I finally have the answer. The nature side of the debate argues that certain people are born to be serial killers. Nature supporters believe that the reason a person becomes a serial killer is biological. It is argued that their genes, genetic disorders, and/or damage to their frontal lobe is the reason they desire to kill. Others believe that environmental factors such as childhood abuse or neglect cause a person to become a serial killer. Neuroscientist Jim Fallon was one of those people who believe serial killers were born, and that there is a genetic difference between serial killers and the general population. To test his theory, he decided to look at a variety of different brain scans and try to point out which ones belonged to serial killers. Fallon was able to correctly identify all of the killer brains because they all had one thing in common: a loss of function in the orbital cortex. Fallon believed this proves that serial killers are born, not made. But then, Fallon discovered what he considered to be the worst serial killer brain. Jim Fallon soon realized he was actually looking at his own brain. When Jim Fallon realized he was looking at his own scan, he also examined his DNA and realized he possessed the MAOA gene, also known as the serial killer gene, which indicates a really high risk of violence. If Jim Fallon had the brain and genes of a serial killer, how come he wasn't one? Fallon and many others theorized the missing component that prevented him from killing was negative childhood experiences. Did Fallon's happy and secure childhood protect him from becoming the next Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, or Jeffrey Dahmer? It seems like having a childhood devoid of love and affection is what actually turns potential killers into full-blown psychopathic murderers. Because of this, I would argue that serial killers are made. While there are biological factors that predispose people to violence and increase their chances of becoming a serial killer, it is truly the years of torment and abuse that cause them to lash out and kill others in revenge for their younger self. It is important that we understand how a serial killer is made so that we will be prepared to look out for the signs before a person commits the devilish act of taking the life of another. According to Health.com, the serial killer trifecta consists of 3 behaviors that have been highly consistent with serial killers. And if a person displays all 3 behaviors, it is very likely that they will become a serial killer. The first behavior that indicates a potential killer is torturing animals. There is no reason anyone with a healthy, normal functioning brain should intentionally be causing suffering and torture to any living thing, animal or human. The second sign is bedwetting. Younger kids sometimes wet the bed, but if it consistently occurs later in life or past the acceptable bedwetting age, it is possible the child is being emotionally or sexually abused. The last behavior in the serial killer trifecta is fire setting. Fire setting is a destructive behavior that is an early sign of violent tendencies and unresolved feelings of aggression. Many serial killers have displayed some, if not all, of these behaviors in their childhood, and it is likely linked to their violent behaviors as adults. If you notice a child displaying any or all of these behaviors, get the child professional help immediately to ensure that their behaviors will not lead to serial violence or murder as the child gets older. Now that you know that serial killers are made and the signs to look out for, you can do your part in an attempt to reduce the number of future serial killers and the number of innocent lives taken. Thank you.